Okay, guys, so I just realized that for some reason my mic wasn't plugged in and I was in the middle of recording. So I just started the draft, so at least I found out right on time. But I uh, basically I simmed another 2 weeks, won two more games, and Parker, I remember, got a complete game shutout. So I'll show you guys that afterwards. But oh, that's friggin' annoying. Like literally my Blue Yeti, I didn't realize it was not like plugged in, I guess, basically. So I basically recorded the first 11 minutes of this episode without any audio, so I'll probably just cut that part out. But anyways, let's start the friggin' year 6 draft already. I guess just based on the fact that I'm already here and I don't want to have to re-record this entire episode again, or the first beginning of this episode. So Evan James going second overall to the Rockies, which means we are going to be able to get Vincent Tan. Now, what's interesting about Vincent Tan, since you guys won't get to see, is I did scout him out more because Nick was mentioning about it. And it looks like he's going to be a very good A potential player. He could also be a high B potential, which means he could get some growth into being an A potential player. And he should have a pretty good solid starting overall 58 to 68. So Vincent Tan's going to be our first pick. We also do have Lee on our list still, Hanoyo, Taguchi, Yamamoto, just like Dylan was mentioning. And then we have Tommy Wong, Charles Nakamura, Won-Young Chang, Boris Hayashi, and Darren Hoffman that we could select. So I appreciate you guys with your comments, and I appreciate the suggestions for this episode. I honestly didn't realize my mic was not plugged in until this point, so I'm glad that I actually noticed before the draft started, because if I didn't, I would have had to re-record this entire episode, but instead I'm just going to jump in where I basically realized my mic was unplugged. So apologize about that. Let's take Vincent Tan with our third overall selection in this year's draft. Hopefully he's an A potential, but if he's a high B potential, like I said, as long as he grows into that A potential type of player, that would be great. So our scouts also think he's the 8th best prospect in the draft, so it was kind of nice because his draft projection before this episode was like late first round, but now it's a top 10 pick. So Vincent Tan might be one of the best pitchers in this year's draft class. But let's take a look at the rest of this first round. I apologize about my mic situation. I would normally re-record that entire portion again, but I just didn't want to go through it again, and I think you guys could understand why. So at least it wasn't too big of a problem. It would have been a bigger problem if I would have recorded the entire draft and all that stuff and didn't realize. So Richard Sandoval went, which was a shortstop. He went 4th overall. Derek Foster going to Kansas City, another starting pitcher. Edgar Navarro going to the Orioles, a third baseman. We should be able to get all the players we want in this year's draft too, because not all of them are projected to go super high, which is good. I'm very excited though for Vincent Tan, just on the fact that he could be a very good player to have in our rotation with like Iwamura, with Young, that type of thing. So Miami got Ken Finney, who's a center fielder, and in Boston got Juan Pereira, who's a starting pitcher. All right. Left fielder and Cesar DaCosta going to the Padres at 9th overall. The Phillies, who are they going to select? David Minoso, another starting pitcher. All right. Yeah, I think we definitely got one of the best starting pitchers in this year's draft class, based on my opinion, at least in terms of potential. Not necessarily overall rating, but if his overall super high overall as well, wise, that would be great. Diego Encarnacion. Encarnacion. It's like Edwin Encarnacion. He goes to the Cubs. And then the Guardians take Pedro Leon, who's a starting pitcher. A lot of starting pitchers going early again, just like there normally is. Reynaldo Vasquez going to the Pirates. What are the Reds going to take at 14? What are they going to take? Another pitcher? Yeah, Woody Merrifield. Woody Merrifield from Colorado. Such a funny name, Woody. I just think of friggin' like Toy Story or something like that. Speaking of interesting names, Kiki Chavez, a first catcher in the draft, going to the Tampa Bay Rays. So there goes Kiki Chavez, who could have a high overall, maybe a low overall, who knows. The Giants take Darryl Blackwell, another starting pitcher. Will be interesting to see how this draft shapes up compared to like last year's draft, because last year's draft was definitely the worst. And I was just mentioning about Woody being a funny name. Well, there's a second Woody going in the first round. It's Woody Stein going to the Blue Jays, third baseman. And then Herschel Rowe will go to the Astros. All right. Who's going to the Brewers at 19? Diego Zambrano. All right. He's from Cuba. So an international prospect, interesting. The Twins at number 20 are going to take Lester Ruiz. Not enough Lesters in the world nowadays. I think of the guy from friggin' GTA. That's the only Lester I could think of. It's funny. Francisco Jimenez going to the Diamondbacks. He's currently injured apparently, but that doesn't really matter too much unless it's something that's going to bug him in his career. Robbie Carros going to the Angels. A lot of starting pitchers in his first round. Like, there's barely any infielders or outfielders in his first round, it seems like. Yankees are going to take a third baseman in Bryant Daniel. Okay. Could be another low potential, low overall guy or a high potential, high overall guy. Nobody knows. Michael Hanoyo went in the first round. That's actually a major surprise. Of course, our scouts had him ranked at 111, yet this Atlanta Braves team is going to take Hanoyo from us. So unfortunately, we will not be able to get Hanoyo with our third round selection. Or actually, he would have been a second round at number 40. Damn, man, that sucks. Sean McBeth going afterwards, a closing pitcher to Texas. William Gore, another closer, going to the Dodgers. I'm surprised Hanoyo went in this first round. I thought he would at least fall to the second, maybe third round. Ralph Suggs going to the Mets, another starting pitcher. Who is the Tigers going to take? Gil Garcia, the number GG, another third baseman. A lot of third basemen in this first round as well. Starting pitchers and third baseman. The the Mariners. That's what I'm trying to say. Eloy Collado? Yeah, Collado. Almost like collateral. Going to the Mariners. And the last pick of the first round was Diego Moreno going to the Cardinals. Another catcher. So that's the second catcher of the first round. And Johnny Levitt, a closer, going to the Phillies. All right. So now we can sim to our next selection. Hopefully some guys are still on the board. And they are. Okay, perfect. That's good. So we only are losing out on one guy, but we are going to be getting Theodore Lee, which could be a very good contact hitter. And that's what I'm most excited about for Theodore Lee. Like, his vision looks like he could be very good too. So even though he's not very, like, the highest potential in the world, he could definitely outgrow it, I think. And I think I did draft him last year, and then he didn't sign, or 2 years ago. I think if I remember correctly, he has high interest too, which is really good. So he will definitely be able to get signed easily this time around. So welcome aboard, Theodore Lee. Let's hope that he's like an 82 potential. But obviously, if he's not, I think he could definitely outgrow that if his contact numbers and vision is that good. So I like that pick a lot. And in our pick at number 40, let me take a look at Dylan Steen again. It was supposed to be Hanoyo at this pick, so I guess we got to go with Taguchi at this pick. So Tadahito Taguchi, another catcher to add to our rotation of catchers, I guess, because we have Yamazaki already. We also have Nomo, but Taguchi at least gives us a little bit more depth at catcher. So welcome aboard to Tadahito Taguchi. Hopefully he's decent. Our next selection, nobody went off the board, I think, that we could have went for, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go for Akio Yamamoto with the next selection. And then afterwards, it's kind of up to me, I guess, on what I want to go with. So Akio Yamamoto, welcome aboard as well. Hopefully you're a decent reliever for us, because we do like ourselves a nice bullpen. So there's Yamamoto. Hopefully all these guys are still on the board when we get to our next selection. And yes, they all are. Perfect. That's good. Alright, so we have to make a choice, and I only have less than a minute to do so, because all these other guys are up in the air on what we want to go with. So Tommy Wong could have a 64 to an 80 potential, and then you have Nakamura, who has 67 to 83 potential, 43 to 59 overall. I might take Nakamura here, and then take Wong next round. Yeah, I think that's the play. So we're going to go with Charles Nakamura here in the 4th round, and hope that he's decent. Hopefully Charles Nakamura was the right selection there. And hopefully Tommy Wong's available next round. Which he still is. Good. I think somebody might have went off the board though. But I don't know who. But if you wanted to look at the meme picks, Louis went to the Philadelphia Phillies. Interesting. Okay. Let's go to our next pick. And yeah, we're going to take Tommy Wong, I think, with this selection here. Because he could be a B potential guy. So Tommy Wong, welcome aboard as well. We're going to have so much like relievers and stuff like that, which is kind of nice because it does give us maybe a chance to have a good bullpen. And our final selection. Okay, a couple guys went off the boards afterwards, unfortunately, which only gives us one guy left. So Darren Hoffman went, which we don't really care about Darren Hoffman, to be honest. Who was the other one? Oh yeah, Boris Hayashi went to the Cardinals in the last pick of the 6th round. Which means Wang Yang Chain is going to be our last selection of this year's draft. Tons of relievers in this draft for our team, but hopefully some of them are decent. And that is the class. Perfect. Alright. Well, kind of a weird start to this episode considering I had that problem with my mic. At least it's now plugged in. But now we got to find out what happens at the All-Star game and stuff like that, because Dylan said in his comment that he wanted me to see who the All-Star, how good the All-Star players played. So we're going to definitely do that. So let's go auto on that game. Also, before we get to that, I will show you guys these 2 wins that we just had to start this episode. So Parker Iwermer got a complete game shutout, which is pretty damn amazing considering the quality of this roster. But he did win 2-0 over the Baltimore Orioles, and he only gave up 4 hits, and he also pitched all 9 innings with 10 strikeouts. So Parker Iwermer played really good in his last start, or one of his last starts, I should say. And then also against Boston, we won 5-4 as the Rule 5 pickup, Chi Young Liu, got his first win of the season. We got to take a look at this. Let's see. So Leonard Sato played a little bit in that game as well. Same with Shintaro Fujinami. The future is bright for this team. 6 wins on a team that doesn't have any batters yet from that we've drafted. That's pretty nice. Alright, let's sim through this All-Star stuff. Let's see who made the All-Star game for us this year. It's probably going to be Parker Iwermer, my guess, but I honestly have no idea. It could be somebody else. Let's just go with that because we're just taking a look at the roster anyways. Let's see. Who made the All-Star game for us? Was it not a pitcher? Or unless I'm looking at the wrong side. No, I don't think I am. It must be a low overall batter in, right? Maybe I'm blind. Let me look through this a little bit closer. Let me look through this a bit closer. Yu Chang? No, it's... Oh, it is Yu Chang. Yeah, Yu Chang made it for us. So, it was a 3rd baseman. So, no Parker Iwermer in this year's All-Star game. And no Leonard Sato, which is kind of surprising. But Yu Chang's been batting at 249, which is not really that bad considering the quality of this roster. So, alright. That's okay. Was kind of expecting it to be one of our younger guys. So I don't think I even need to look at the All-Star stats just because of the fact that it wasn't one of our pitchers. Alright, now we can sign our prospects. So let's go ahead and do so. Get Vincent Tan signed up because obviously he is the big one. Let's get him signed up easily. He declines the first offer, which is not great, but at least we have a lot of time to sign him. Let's try signing Theodore Lee. This shouldn't be too hard because he's already, over 70% interest. We got him easily. Tommy Wong. Can I sign you already? Yes, I can. Nice. It's always nice when you get signed people in like the first thing. We're going to put Yamamoto for there so I can get these guys' interest up there a little bit more. And then who's the 32%? Oh, there's some players I could actually still sign contracts to. So let's try and get Chang. We got Chang. And let's get Taguchi on there as well. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's see if we could get these guys all signed up pretty quickly here. So we'll start off by getting... Actually, we'll remove Taguchi for a second so I could get Vincent Tan signed. Because he's the big boy. Come on, Vincent. You gotta sign here, buddy. You gotta sign here. You are the #1 priority of this team. Let's get Yamamoto signed. He declined at 70%. I'm surprised on that. What about Nakamura? Nakamura accepts. Perfect. Okay. Let's just put Tane on there so his interest gets higher even though he's only at 61% already. Let's go through another 2 games. See if we win any more games in this episode. We do not have 2 valid lineups. Let me go to our lineup here. What spot do we need? We got a first, a second, a third. We have a shortstop. We have a right fielder, a left fielder, center fielder. It's just a DH. Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter too much about the MLB team right now for batting. Alright. Let's go there and boom, boom. Now let's see if we could sign these guys up. Vincent Tan, please accept, please, money-wise. Thank you. Vincent Tan is accepted. So just down to these 2 guys, which we should be able to get Yamamoto signed, and he's looking okay, but he is 22 already. And hopefully Tadahito Taguchi can get that interest up there fast, because we do not have that much time to get his interest super high up. Hey, we do win another game against the Angels 3-2. We have won 7 games this season. There's a chance we could hit 10 wins this season, but it's going to take a lot of work. Shintaro Fujinami gets credited with the victory. I want to take a look at the stats on that one too. So, Parker Iwamura started that game, pitched 7 innings, and was playing pretty damn good. Tom Koo came in, played good enough. And then Shintaro Fujinami closed out the game. It's pretty good. Parker Iwamura is doing really well. He has got a sub 4 ERA. That's what I'm trying to say. Taguchi's up to a 41%. We got a couple more days to get that up higher. Auto on that Whitfield guy and on De Jesus. Can't sign him yet. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this might be a tough one. If we try and give him 100% of what he's wanting, we should be able to get. There we go. He's up above 50%. He's looking okay so far. Let's see. Will you accept? Yes, he will. Perfect. So we get all of our prospects signed up, which is fantastic. Let's go to the end of the month. And auto on that dude. No, because we don't have any more prospects to sign. No, thank you. And now we should be able to see our prospects from this year's draft class. The question is now, how good was our draft? And how good was the rest of this draft? I am going to remove... Actually, no, I'm not going to remove my face yet. I will remove my face eventually. But the question is, who is the players we drafted this year? Is Tan going to be an A potential, or is he going to be a high B potential player? And what is his overall? Is it going to be a 58? Is it going to be a 68? Is it going to be just in between? Let's see. Come on, please, Vincent. Yes, let's go. 64 overall is a great starting overall for a 21-year-old. A potential. Huge pick there for Vincent Tan. Imagine him, Iwamura, and then also young pitching. That's going to be fantastic. I like that a lot. Obviously, his hits per 9 and his Ks per 9 are a little bit low, so he does need work on those. But his strikeouts per 9, or not his strikeouts per 9, his walks per 9 and home runs per 9 are pretty good. He's also got good velocity, good arm action. Not bad. Not too bad. He only does have 3 pitches, but still. Vincent Tan is probably one of our best pitcher draft picks we've had out of the draft class. So I like that. Our next selection. Hey, Theodore Lee is really good. Theodore Lee is going to be maybe the Ozzie Cardenius of the series. And if you never watched my Vancouver Rain series, you might want to go check that out just because of Ozzie Cardenius. But Theodore Lee, 65 at 21, fantastic. He's C potential only. But look at that contact hitting versus left-handers. And look at that contact hitting versus right-handers. And that vision. He's immediately past Yang, I think it is. Or, yeah, I think it's Yang at first base. So Theodore Lee is looking like he could easily be a good hitter already in the MLB based on those contact numbers and that vision. His discipline does need work, though. But he's going to be probably pretty good. I like that pick a lot. Might not be the highest potential in the world, but I think he could definitely go into a B potential range, maybe even A potential if he plays really good. So Theodore Lee, I am very excited to see what you're like. Our next pick, he's okay. I mean, Taguchi's a little bit of a low overall for an 18-year-old, 46. But C potential at least, so it's not like he's a D potential kind of guy. So I will take that, but definitely our lowest pick, I would say, so far, but kind of makes sense. Our next selection, Akio Yamamoto, probably going to be an okay reliever at some stage. He's got C potential at least, but 51 and 22 is pretty low. Like, by the time he makes the majors, he might be getting close to 30 years old. But it does give us more depth at relief pitcher, at least, in case our bullpen isn't doing too well. He does have good hits per 9 and Ks per 9, so could be useful if he gets good growth. Our next selection, Nakamura, same type of boat, but at least he's 18. 52 overall at 18, C potential. I don't mind that. He has good hits per 9, good Ks per 9. The walks per 9, a little bit low, but the home runs per 9 is solid. So, yeah, Nakamura could be maybe a decent reliever too. The next selection, Tommy Wong, same type of boat, but higher overall, I would say, to Nakamura. 57 at 18 with C potential. Really good hits per 9, his walks per 9, and home runs per 9 solid. Ks per 9 a little bit low again, but these relief pitchers are going to at least give us some bullpen help, which is really good. So, yeah, don't mind that selection again. It sucks that we're not getting any super high potentials other than obviously our first selection, but at least these C potential guys aren't the kind of guys, so we are having an okay draft, all things considered, with this draft quality, I think. And in our next selection, Wong Yang Cheng is a D potential. So, of course, we had to get one D potential, but it was our last selection of the draft. He is only a 53 at 18, which is not terrible. So maybe he could outgrow it, but yeah, likely Wong Yang Cheng maybe never makes the majors, but really depends, I guess, on his play in like double and triple A. Because if he plays good in double A, maybe he goes into a C potential. So I would say, in all things considered, a solid draft for this team. Obviously, Vincent Tan, 94 potential. Really good pick there. That's definitely a really good pick for our team. Theodore Lee only has 74 potential, but I think he could definitely outgrow that with those contact numbers and that vision. So very excited to see what he could do. Taguchi's got 77 potential, so not too bad. Yamamoto 79 potential. Nakamura 76. Wong 74. And Yang only, or not Yang, Chang. Jeez. has 66 potential. So in general, I'd say based on this draft quality, I think we had an okay draft. Because on paper, it didn't look that great to me. But all these C potential guys at least give us a bit more depth. And then also, like I said, Theodore Lee could easily be a B potential at some stage. But Vincent Tan, obviously, is the best player of this draft. And I kind of expected that once we scouted him out a little bit longer. All right, let's take a look at what the AI teams got. See if there's any crazy steals. So, the Mariners. Eloy Collado is a fantastic steal. 66 at 22. A little bit of a low overall for a 22-year-old, but 97 potential. And then you also see a bunch of C potentials just kind of like us. The Rangers. Good first-round pick as well. Sean McBeth is a 68 at 19 with 91 potential. So, yeah, it looks like most teams maybe had a good first round, and then afterwards they just didn't, which makes sense. Except for the Braves, who took Hanoyo, who we were looking at potentially drafting at pick 40. He went first round to the Braves, and he's a 57 at 18 with 71 potential. So he's kind of similar to a lot of the other players we drafted. But Theodore Lee, obviously, I would say is a lot better than him. Really good speed, though, for Hanoyo. And good stealing. Like, he's definitely going to be a good threat on the base paths, I'd say. Aside from that, though, Jeff Granger, not bad, but a little bit of a low overall for a 22-year-old. The Marlins, no A potential guys, but a good overall, at least for Ken Finney, 75 at 19 with 79 potential. Yeah, this is a weird class, I would say. The Mets, Ralph Suggs, also high overall at 18, 70 at 18, but only 81 potential. The Phillies, Johnny Lovett, 64 at 19, 89 potential. That's pretty damn good. And Louis is actually not that bad of a player for the memes, so it'll be interesting to see if we ever run into Louis in the playoffs or something like that. He's a 50 at 18 with 79 potential. The Nationals got two good potential guys, Richard Sandoval, not Richie Sandoval, but Richard Sandoval, 68 at 20, 89 potential for a shortstop, fantastic. And Gerald Smith as a shortstop, 50 at 19 with 89 potential, so they got two really good shortstops in this draft class, and then also Marquez as a shortstop, so I guess they're targeting shortstops. The Cubs got Diego Encarnacion, who's also good, 66 at 18 with 90 potential. Then you head to the Reds, Woody Merrifield, 58 at 19, 90 potential. A lot more A potential guys in this draft than I would have expected. And Darren Hoffman, who went to the Reds, obviously, yeah, we weren't thinking he's going to be super good. 65 at 22 is not bad. But yeah, he's not insane. He's only got 70 potential, so yeah. He would have been probably one of our 7th round selections, or 6th round selections, if we would have not had like the chance to take Wong Yang Chang. Ooh, the Brewers didn't have a great draft, to be honest, so that's one of the worst ones we've seen yet. The Pirates, they didn't sign their first round pick, Reynaldo Vasquez. I don't know when he was drafted, but damn, that's crazy. Sidney Whitaker, 59 at 21, 89 potential. All right. The Cardinals, Diego Moreno. They didn't have a great draft either. Boris Hayashi was not super good. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't take Hayashi, but he would have been probably better than Wong Yang Chang if he was still on the board, but we missed him by one selection because of that. But 58 at 21 with D potential. Shout out to Buddy Fitzgerald, though. The Diamondbacks. Yikes. Some of these teams didn't really have a good draft. This is an okay pick, though. 77 at 23 with 81 potential for Jerome Kazarian. Yeah, Kazarian. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting pick there for the Diamondbacks. Not a super high ceiling, but a high overall. Huh, alright. Evan James, who was one of the top picks in this year's draft. He went second, I think, just before we took Tan. He's a 70 at 22 with 88 potential. So there's Evan James. There we go. They also got a potential guy, Andre Stokes, who is 63 at 21 with 92 potential. That's a really good steal there. That would have been nice if that guy was Asian, considering we do need second baseman. The Dodgers, they did get an A potential guy, but he was their last selection. 55 at 23 is really low, but 91 potential is nice. But still, this guy's probably not going to be making the majors till he's like 30 plus, my guess. What else we got here? The Padres, not a great draft really for them. Some okay picks, but nothing insane. The Giants, not a great first round pick, but Johnny Pickett is solid. 59 at 20, 87 potential. They didn't sign 3 selections. Damn. All right. The Orioles, Edgar Navarro is okay, but once again, another team with a bit of a mid-draft. And then you have the Red Sox with Juan Pereira, 65 at 18, 86 potential. That's nice and useful. Floyd Stanford, not Stanfield, 64 at 23, 88 potential. Pretty good. And then Nathaniel Jacobs, 49 at 18 with 86 potential. Yeah, they had an okay draft. The Yankees did not sign their first pick, Bryant Daniel. That's crazy. They didn't have a good draft at all. The only guys that they signed were deep potential guys, and then Guillermo Ponce. It was a 40 overall. Goddamn. The Rays, Kiki Chavez, 65 at 18 is a pretty good starting overall, but not super high potential. Bill Holman, pretty good closer prospect for them. And that's pretty much it. Toronto, Woody Stein, he's okay. Connie Fink, what a weird name. He's okay. Yeah, so they had some okay selections, but nothing crazy. The White Sox, their first selection, which was first overall, Carlos Parado. 67 at 21 is great. B potential is good too, but only an 81. You definitely hope for a better selection like that first overall, especially with what went afterwards. Rick Silva, he's pretty good. At least that made up for it a little bit. And then Rahul Trujillo is pretty good, but he is 23. So that's a really good closer, though. So at least they made up for it a little bit after the fact. And then what else we got here? Guardians, they didn't sign Pedro Leon. Tim Montez is okay. The Tigers, their first selection, Gil Garcia is okay. And Dexter Stone, pretty good steal there. 55 overall at 18, 89 potential. What else we got here? Kansas City, Derek Foster. Really good pickup there for the Royals. Caraballo's okay. Tom Miklas, okay. The Twins, Lester Ruiz, 67 at 18 with 93 potential. That's really good. That's a really good one. Shout out to the Twins. And then Adrian Vaccaro is also solid too. Alright, so they made a couple good selections. The Astros, Herschel Rowe, Looks like the Astros didn't have the best of drafts. However, there is Norris Hamill, who's a 75, but he has deep potential. Interesting. And then you have the Angels with Robbie Karros, who is okay. And Liam O'Connell, who's also kind of okay, but a little bit low overall. And then there's us. I think based on this draft quality, we had an okay draft, all things considered. It's just a weaker draft class. And did we get one of the highest potential players in this year's draft? I think so. Collado probably has the highest potential, but I think we got one of the better players in this draft class, which is nice, especially with the future of this team. All right, so we're 7 and 103. I want to take a look at how our players have been doing so far. Again, just a little update on our player stats, and then that'll be it for this episode at that point in time. But Parker Iwamura has now got a 2-15 record with a 4.16 ERA and a 1.31 WHIP. How is his quality starts? 22 games started, 13 quality starts, pretty damn great. His FIP has improved as well. It's almost getting to below a 4, which is really good. So, Iwamura doing his stuff. Walter Jung has not won his first game yet in the MLB. And he's got pretty good. 9 quality starts out of 22 games ain't terrible. So he's been okay. Chi-Young Liu doesn't really matter too much. What about our relievers? Leonard Sato. Let's take a look at his stats here. How's that FIP rating? 2.89. Shout out to Leonard Sato. He's having a really good rookie year. Really good stuff. Tom Koo as well. I almost forgot about Tommy. But Tom Koo, let's take a look at his stats. Yeah, he's also been good. 3.67. So shout out to our relievers. And then if we head to double and triple A so far, Kazuhito Hayashi's been fantastic in double A. Really good stats from Kazuhito Hayashi. That's great to see. What about Eric Yamashita? He's been good too. Austin Choi, he's been good too, looks like. Yamamoto, good too. Alright. I'm going to just kind of briefly skim through this because I don't want to go too in-depth with some of this stuff yet. Stain Nguyen has been really good too in AAA. David Na's been a little bit lackluster, but that's okay. Robert Matsui apparently hot as of late. Alright. What else we got here? Walter Cho, pretty solid, looks like. And Philip Chung, really good. Nice. What about batter-wise? Nomo at 205, Yokoyama at 247. Looks like we should probably reorder our lineup a little bit again in next episode, which is okay. Yeah, it looks like Double A is struggling a little bit in terms of batting. I know Oka also plays against lefties. He's got a 267 so far. That's not too bad. What about Triple A? 218, a 254, 219. All right. Sato's got a 272. Damn, he's been really good. But he is 25. All right. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode. I know it was a little bit of a weird episode, especially to start off with because of the fact that my mic wasn't plugged in, but hopefully at least you guys understood what you missed out on, which was just basically me going over the comments and then scouting for 2 weeks, so at least it wasn't too crazy, but I think that draft was actually not too bad, all things considered. Excited to see what obviously the next few years are like draft-wise, because I think that draft definitely will help us in terms of just having more depth in the bullpen. And hopefully it's a draft that at least becomes useful for us whenever we get to the point where we're actually trying to contend. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.